is already one state. There's no question about the fact that it's a binational state, because when everybody is governed by the same government, that's one state. When people are governed by different laws based on who they are, that's apartheid. And that's the reality. I mean, you can argue from here to eternity whether it's a nice thing to say or not, but this is the reality on the ground. There are different sets of laws that govern the lives of Israelis and Palestinians. So that's number one. The state is already there. Transforming it from an apartheid state to a democracy, well, how do other non-democratic states transform themselves from non-democracies to democracies? There's a process. There are all these things that happen. There's popular revolt, there's pressure from the outside, there's things like BDS, there are, I've been speaking all week, I've been speaking at Israeli Apartheid Weeks all over colleges, and not just myself, I mean, there's a lot of us that are out there speaking. It used to be an insignificant amount of places that had this. There are over 100 colleges, I understand, that do it now. In a couple of years, there'll be 500 colleges around the world. People are talking about this. This is how you transform a non-democracy to a democracy. Well, a lot of very good Israeli activists still believe in the Zionist dream and feel that Jews must have their own state. And a lot of people here in the United States are activists like this too, and I respect them, and they believe that the Jews need to have their own state, and they feel very strongly about that. And they may be right. The question is not whether or not this is the right thing to do. The question is this a realistic expectation? And there is no realistic expectation that a Zionist government will ever allow the creation of a Palestinian state. Israelis and Palestinians have so much in common in terms of their interest, in terms of mutual interest, that once they can vote together as equals, and they can live together as equals, and they can create a future for themselves and their families as equals. Their mutual interests will outweigh by far any divisions, any national or religious divisions. Half of Israelis, more than half of Israelis, I should say, have families that come from Arab countries. They've heard Arabic their whole life. They listen to Arabic music. Arabic culture is part of who they are. And so the connection between these two is not that difficult. And because of the similarity of the levels of education and so on, moving forward as one country, as one state, is going to be a lot easier. It's not like you've got a small group that are highly educated and a massive, uneducated, illiterate population. That doesn't exist. If the walls came down tomorrow and people in Gaza were free, all the teachers, the lawyers, the educators, the social workers, the counselors, the doctors, the engineers, they'd all go to work. There's plenty of work for them. Israel has a shortage of doctors. There's lots of doctors in Gaza. There's plenty of work. All you have to do is build the hospitals, reassign the money from building the wall and buying weapons to building a state, to healthcare and education, the things that any normal functioning state needs to focus on. The transition can be very, very quick because the people are there ready to go to work. The education, you don't have to teach people how to read and write and use electric equipment or the toilet, stuff like that. You don't have to do that. This is a completely different kind of equation completely. And so therefore, once this does take place, once the wall does come down and the equality does take place, and the Zionist, very racist political structure that exists today is transformed into a real democracy, people are going to go to work the next day.